Welcome to another build making. Let's see what we can do today. This one will be on the Warlock, because he's the next one to do in the rotation. Coming in with it right now, I'm going to go ahead and choose one of my most used builds on my Warlock. Our default for when I'm playing on my Warlock is always Felwinter's Helm due to its survivability capabilities and the ability to do damage with it. For this, I use Lightning Surge because it's a mass AoE melee ability that is able to proc Felwinter's Helm, and Electrostatic and Mine to allow me to create more ionic traces to keep my abilities up. For Spark of Resistance, you're constantly going to be surrounded in this setup. Arc Weapon Final Blows will also have a chance to create ionic traces, so I use some good arc weapons for that. Feedback, allowing me to take damage and deal even more damage. And Spark of Beacons, which allows my arc weapons to do quite well. I use personally for this Breakneck. Got this roll on it and I've fallen in love with it. It's real good at clearing out rooms of enemies. Loaded Question, Overflow Reservoir Burst. If you're doing it right, you're almost always going to have Reservoir Burst procced. Darcy, believe it or not, is pretty fun to use. With its ability to always jolt, meaning that you can always stun overload champions with a sniper, and being so far away with it allows you to not have them constantly teleport or attack you when you do this. Also giving it extra damage on a precision shot so long as you are locked onto them. It can be nasty in the right setups. As far as the mods I have on, Kinetic and Arc Siphon, and Special Finder, because you're going to be using Loaded Question a lot more often. Arc Loader, because Darcy needs it still, but a melee kickstart allows you to get that flash bang of a melee back pretty quickly. Double melee resistance, because more often than not you're going to be right in the fray with this thing. A good harmonic siphon, as well as a couple of better already, and invigoration allows you to get your ability more often, keep yourself healed, and of course get more arcane. I think I put on the wrong finishing on there, but Proximity Ward allows you to keep an overshield while finishing, and given what Felwinter's Helm does, finishing is quite useful with it. Pop your Rift to get your melee back faster as well. Take this thing into a testing grounds. Of course, I'm going to go to my default one every time. If I had some dungeon checkpoints on hand, I would go ahead and use those, but of course, going to my usual testing grounds. A bit of testing along the way. With Reservoir Burst combined with Overflow, it allows you to get a good 8 shots in, all having Reservoir Burst, which both is good for some burst damage when you need it, and a lot of ad clear. Clearing enemies out and surviving. I've run this build throughout a handful of GMs, and a lot of lost sectors. I mean the actual champion-filled ones. One shot, kill everything in the room. Pretty useful in my opinion. Anything caught within the blast becomes weakened and blinded, allowing you to basically get a chain of it off in most endgame activities. But the thing with Felwinter's Helm is, the more powerful of an enemy you're able to finish, so if you can get a champion, or you get an orange bar or something like that, you can basically weaken massive rooms in a single shot. It also increases the duration depending on the level of enemy you've killed. So let's say this guy here, or one of these little dregs. So you got everyone in this room hit with it. Which allows me a quick cleanup. Nice and easy, right? And everything in the room got hit with it. If you're the kind of person that likes doing on mass finisher frenzies, this is a good setup for you. Though, if you want to try to do it with Void, there is a few things I have done when I ran with it. Of course, one of my favorite ones to combine it with is Echo Cessation. It allows them to become volatile and weakened and blinded all at the same time using one finisher. The rest of these are hit or miss. I can make a separate build on it if people want, but this is how I have chosen to run it. It allows me to be a bit more run and gun with it than the old Void one was. Thank you for listening. This has been Draco, giving you another build.